So now we have 100 plus participants. So I think we will start because there is a lot to cover and people will keep joining in once they are free or they get time. They will keep, I'm sure they will join in more people. So let's start for now. Okay, so we covered a lot of things yesterday, and uh, one thing also I wanted to tell yesterday that this command line interface in R makes it very powerful actually because in through that you can customize everything. Just understand the difference between a tailor-made cloth and a cloth which you get ready-made. So in tailor-made, it is maybe probably it is slightly more cumbersome, but you have everything. You can uh, buy things. You can choose cloth type, color, everything you have. So you have all the facilities of choosing texture of cloth, color of cloth, length of cloth, design, and every variety, but it takes more effort while buying a ready-made cloth, maybe costlier. So all other softwares which are not they are not open source also, but you can just go in and get. But then the choice is also limited. Not only are other softwares costly, but the choice is also limited because when you are typing and you're yourself generating things, you have much more option. Hello.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm muting myself.
Okay, okay. And you start learning initially, but soon become you learn things, and for example, implementing tests. I would like to cover tests today itself in R also. So, it seems that it is more cumbersome, but for example, most of the things in R can be done in one or two lines, but and most of the things in single line and some things in two lines. But if you remember the steps in other menu based softwares, there are 5 6 steps. You go there, you click there, you click there, you select that, you untick that, and then you run something. So it is a choice, but it is more or less the same thing. It is not that art is more time consuming or something. In fact, it seems once you get comfortable and repeatedly use it, not only it becomes easy, error free, you have more power in customizing your according to your choices, and it is also other things which are like cost free and such things. And once you know the command for the type of tests or technique you want to apply, then again it is not a problem. So again, we did all these things yesterday. We did all these things. Yes, I wanted to tell you that hitting tab. So whenever after writing code, you can write, you can click on tab, you can click on enter, and I wanted to tell you regarding shortcuts. So some of the shortcuts we used yesterday: control plus enter. If you are using a MacBook, it is command plus enter for executing a command or a portion of command from text editor to R console. But the complete, because there are more shortcuts available, so the complete list of shortcuts can be easily accessed. So let me show you how you can do it. So if you go to tools and here you can see keyboard shortcuts help tools. You will be having this menu of RStudio. So tools and keyboard shortcuts help. So, immediately I think this also is visible to the participants. Can some of them confirm some the keyboard shortcut which has, pop up in my screen? Okay, okay. So thank you. So, yesterday somebody asked, command for clearing the console, and I was not sure. In fact, I did not find it in my previous RStudio version. I have updated RStudio because I updated it because most of you have downloaded R and RStudio yesterday or in past couple of days. So I wanted that, there are some minor differences in versions. So I wanted to go with you so that, if you tell that something is not functioning, I can directly see. So, here you see, here is that option. Somebody asked yesterday how to clear up the console. So I did not find it in the previous RStudio version. It was older, but here you can see it is CTRL plus L. So, we are not school kids. We don't need to remember these things. You can immediately, yes, after repeated uses, some of the things will get into your mind as it happens. But other things, otherwise, you don't need to worry. Uh, we can anytime, open up these things and see which command is there for what purpose. Okay, so and how do I get out of it? Suppose I have opened it. So you have to press escape. You have to press escape. If you press the escape button, then this goes away. Now, let me take you to some options in the tools because tool options are very important. So in tools, when you go to the last option in the tools menu, it is global options. Now, please understand because these options will be very important. So when you see these options, so the couple of things are very, very important. I will tell you what a project is. Now here, for example, I earlier had a 3.5 version of R, but now you can see that I have got 4.0.2 version, which most of you are having, which was released on 22nd June. So I'm having this version now. So already I am having more than one version of R. And periodically we tend to update maybe in a year or two, because in a year only minor changes take place. So you are updating the version of R. So which version you want RStudio to be integrated with or compatible with? So this is R4 R point R4.0.2. I can change it. The path will be same. If you do not choose any other path, then by default, all your R files are getting installed in C program files R, and there would be subfolders. There will be subfolders. For example, I would be having another subfolder for R 3.5.2 or whatever it was. Now I am having this subfolder R 4.0.2. So, you can easily change it and you can choose the latest version. So before starting, you can, once check it, but, materially, as I said yesterday also, materially, it does not matter much because more or less, yesterday I was working with our previous version also, so everything was fine. But still, if you want to use the latest version, you should know how to change it. Second thing is very, very important. It is default working directory. So whenever you are creating something, whenever you are, working in a text editor, or you are, working in console, and you are getting some output, or you are, wanting to open up data. So what is your working directory? Working directory, I will tell you why it says when not in a project. But default working directory is the one for where your data, your output, your script, your R commands, all of these things will get stored normally during the functioning. So it is, people tell that I just saved my R output and I don't know where it has gone. So you need to go to tools, then you need to go to global options, and in tools, global options, in the first thing only, general, you will find the path that you want to specify as default working directory. So this is how, we have to go about this. So I have chosen the folder for this, and once you get here, it opens up your computer. So I have chosen a folder for this FTP data and analysis. You can specify any other folder. Now, any other folder on your system. Now, what will happen is that if you are, for example, you are also, teaching something like statistics or data analytics, you are also doing research, and maybe you are working on different research papers. So you would like to have, you will have different, files and scripts and things. So you would like to store them differently. So you would want that you would take every work that you are executing in R, you would like to take it as a combination, as a project. Maybe we can say it as a project, whatever research or teaching assignment you are taking up with R, we can say it is a project. So you would want that all files, whether coding, whether text editor, whether analysis output or graph, all the files or data files, all the files relating to one thing, one project, get stored at one place, and they do not get jumbled up with other things. Because what is happening here is that if I am specifying this path, then files and codes and text editor and output, everything from all my projects and works in an R, will all of them will get stored at same place. It will cause confusion as to what it is, or to which research paper, or to which subject, or to which work, analysis or analytics, which work it is associated with. So R gives you a option, RStudio. No, I think it is not there in R. It is there in RStudio. So RStudio gives you an option of creating a new project. You can create a new file. You can see there are several options, but you can create a new project. So when you click, you go to file, and let me show again. Again, I have written these commands in the PPT also. So you go to file and new project, file and new project. And you can see there are other things also, open project, if you have created a project already. So file and new project, and you can easily see three options. So you can create a project in an entirely new working directory, or you can create a project in the existing working directory. So whatever existing working directory, like this FTP's data and analysis folder is my current working directory. I can create a new project in that, or we can use an entirely new location, new folder. And this you can skip because it is for online repository. So these are the two main options, and if you click here, then you can choose new project, and then you can directory name, and you can browse it, and you can create a project. So it is very simple. So this is also advisable, and the other option is also very simple, existing directory. So it automatically takes the name of the existing directory because I have already provided the existing directory which I showed to you. So it automatically takes that up, and you can click on create a project here. So this is also one feature of R and RStudio, which you can use. So it is helpful in having uh, things at one place, things related to one type at one place. So, okay, so now I would like to also, take you through some options that are there. So what I have done is that I will also be doing it live with you, but for your later reference, you have already received this PPT. For your later reference, what I have done is that I have already provided the screenshots of what options should be selected, because some of them are technical options which you will not understand, or which you don't at least need to understand. In fact, some of these things are so technical because it is compatibility with CSS, HTML, SQL, other languages, and most of the options are not directly, for example, R and C++. So it is entirely of no use to you. So there are too many options which are again C++, HTML, CSS, these things, JavaScript, these things you never have to use. So directly. So there are many such things. So I have given you the ideal option. So let me do it also live, and maybe you can also do it simultaneously. And I have also discussed the R projects, and uh, I will also tell you that in R, just like in other softwares, we have extension, and you have the file extension code. So we have .doc, .docx for Word, .xls and .xlsx for MS Excel. Again, for other softwares, we have different, eViews, it is .wf1. For some other SPSS, it is .spv and .sav. So for R, there are some extensions for different things. So for example, for R project, you will have this. You will have dot r proj r shortcut for R project. Similarly, you will have dot r data for R data, and for text files, you will simply like the one I sent yesterday. It will simply be dot r. So it will start with dot r and then project or data or something. So okay, so before coming to packages, let's see what options you should choose. Okay, so let me just check. Okay, so there is one or two suggestions of increasing the zoom size like yesterday. Okay, so we will do it from now onwards only. And the for those who of you who would be downloading yesterday's session, so switching off the video helps a lot in reducing the size. So I will be switching off my video, and then again towards the end, I will switch it on when we take up some questions or something. So entire 2 hour session, it was only say 240 250 MB. And otherwise, I have had sessions in which the file size goes up to GB. So it is very helpful. So yes, first I will be zooming in. So I will increase the zoom. So, yesterday I was using older version of RStudio, and the maximum zooming that was possible was only up to 200%. And today you can see I'm using a fresh version of RStudio, latest one, and now I can zoom 500%, up to 500%. So, these are, some of the things that get updated when we do it. And you have to, after selecting the zoom, you have to click on apply. So I will be taking you through the global options that we were discussing. Okay, so this option is already open here. Okay, now this is slight problem because zooming it too much is not fitting in the screen. So I will have to reduce slightly. Okay, so tools, global options, and I hope it is fairly visible now also. Okay, so it is larger font, but I cannot, if I increase it further, then actually there will be problem because then I will not be able to see the entire options window. So I cannot increase it, and I think this is fairly visible. So, where we have gone, we again, just to show you, we are going to tools and global options. And I told you earlier that you have to do two very important things. One, select the appropriate version of R with which you want RStudio to be compatible. The path is same, C program files are in this, within this folder, R folder in program files of C drive. There will be different versions. There will be files, there will be folders as per different versions. And you can select the working directory where you want everything to be stored. And wherever, the moment you click save, it will not ask for a location to save. It will automatically get saved and stored at that place. So now, in the general, these are the two major things. But in general, what I would advise is that restoring most recently opened projects. So you can see my last project, which was R script, and this thing automatically got opened when I started RStudio. So, it is entirely your call if you want, if you are continuously working. So it is just a convenience thing. If you want whatever you were working on recently to be opened on startup, otherwise you can untick it. So if I untick it, then it will not get opened. This we would again advise to untick. And also you can see that our data. So our data is getting opened up. So I will be telling you about importing data, and we will be working on data today. So the data set which you have opened in the previous session with R. So do you want it to automatically get opened at starting up? So again, entirely your call. And save workspace to our data on exit. So the by default option is ask. So sometimes we quickly or suddenly click the cross button and R gets closed, and you are worried that whatever commands and output you had got might get lost if you do it. So it is advisable, if you have such vulnerabilities, then you can select always. If you are such kind of a person who automatically saves everything on their own, You can choose never. If you are a forgetful person, which most humans are, most of us are, so you can click on ask. So we, since we are forgettable, so forgetful, so R will remind you that upon closing you can uh, please save whatever you have done. So as per your choice you can save it. Again, always save in history. You can untick it or tick it. uh, you know Saving history would tell you actually what we have done in the past. So maybe if you are working independently, then it is not required, so I can untick it. And these again two options are by default selected if there is any update of RStudio, because we don't know when an update is released, and when sending crash reports to RStudio if by chance your R crashes while working, so you can look into that. So but these two things are very important: R version and the default working directory. Rest of the things are entirely up to your taste and personal preference as to what you want to use. Now, when we come to code, so you can see here, it there are 5 tabs here in code. So these are the 5 aspects related to code. And again, as we said yesterday, the reason for using RStudio is because RStudio provides you all these kind of options which are not there in the basic R platform. So these are the things that come with RStudio. Now, if we look into these options, editing is about the way a code is entered and displayed in the text editor. Now, here you can see, spaces for tab, you can increase, decrease, and otherwise, mostly it is same. Mostly it is fine. So you don't need to worry. You can, keep the default options, and there is not much need for changing anything. Display is about the visual aspects in the text editor and in the console. So for example, you can line number is very important because it tells you how far the code is running. So you must be seeing that line number is visible in my uh, text editor also, because it has been selected here. So in my case also line numbers are visible. Margins you can again increase, decrease. You want a blinking cursor or a constantly static cursor. So all these things you can just keep it as it is, and uh, you can change it only if it bothers you. And also margin also gives you an idea if your code is running too long. So for example, if you're typing for especially not code, but sometimes when we are writing descriptions and when we are writing full sentence descriptions, so it can be very long and it can go into multiple lines. So this thing margin will give you an idea that it has gone beyond a certain limit, and now you should place it, you should start writing further, whether the instruction or the code from the next line. So whether something has gone beyond a normal comfortable view, that is what that on that margin will guide you, like we do in a Word file, the margins. So these are mostly, again, you can keep them same. And also one option here, highlight selected words, make it easy to spot if there is something which is getting repeated. So these things are fine. Now we come to saving. Now this saving option you can see is basically limited to how text files containing the code are saved. So keep default options, and just check that it should be platform native. I'm not explaining it. It is a way of saving the code. So it is technical stuff, but just check that it should be platform native. Then completion is that how code is completed while programming. And again, different people have different preferences and different opinions. For example, whether parenthesis should be added after typing a function or not. So some people select it, some people untick it, but it is not so important. And also whether to insert spaces around equal. So yesterday we saw that we can also assign values to a variable with equal sign. But equal sign has multiple, and more complex uses also in R and RStudio. So again, before equal, there should be space or not. So these are minor and individual subject things. Again, how much characters can be entered, uh, keyboard is how much idle, and so on. So these are very minor things, you can just let it be. And then diagnostics is important. Diagnostics is important because diagnostics tells us that whether there is some error in our code. So R is intelligent enough, and often, as I said yesterday also, we can easily commit mistakes in mistyping options, mistyping object names. So for example, we forget that it is small x or capital X. These kind of mistakes you will commit heavily in, especially in the initial days. So whether it is small x or capital X, and logical function, you have used any reserved word, you have used options which are you have used objects which are not in there at all, you have used package which you have not installed till now. We forget to install package, and before installing that required package, we directly start with the analysis. So for example, this prompt to install missing R packages. So these kind of things will get immediately shown. So again, default options are good, let it be. Then if we look at appearance, so RStudio has its own theme, so you can these things are you can explore on your own. So you want a classic look, you apply it and then look, see what it changes. So if we apply it, so I think there is some change in the looks. And you can again go for sky version and see what suits you. So sky, I think slightly maybe sky colored. So uh, these things you can again explore and choose accordingly. Zooming we have directly used, especially useful when for example, again in online instructing, even during classes, or when you're sharing things with someone. So you can it is better to zoom. So this zooming facility is available. You can in fact even zoom out, reduce, and you can zoom in. So it is fine. And again, font size for editor is 10. You can again increase or decrease this font size. And again, you can check these editor themes. These are all fancy themes. Chaos, ambience, Dracula is there, Eclipse is there, and all these names, Tomorrow Night, Twilight, Xcode, and all such things. You can, try applying it, and, whatever visually appeals to you, you can go with it. And then we have the pane layout. So pane layout is, basically very simple. So you can see here the four things that we use. Source is our text editor, and environment, history, and console, and plots and packages, health. So uh, so in this case, this option is for moving the panes. So you can choose the layout by selecting from the control. So what you want to be displayed. So for example, in history, in this one, I want this to be unselected, or I want history to be unticked. So, or connections, or I want packages to be displayed here. So you can see that there is a common list for both the right side things. So it is entirely your call as to where you want that to be listed. So for example, if I choose tick history, then it can be changed. It can packages can, if I untick from here, then it automatically will go on that side. So you can do these things. I will keep packages here only, not to confuse you. So this is you can choose. And packages, I will come to this. This is very important for packages, because here where you will be getting packages. So I will be talking about packages, but what we can do here, we are definitely not talking about development of packages. That is very technical stuff done by computer science and statisticians primarily. But which repository we want to use for packages. So for in today's time and with 4G internet connectivity, again, participants, please use RStudio on a laptop, on a good system, preferably with 64-bit system and good internet connectivity. These are not any theoretical stuff which you can do or take up anywhere else. So if you have good internet connectivity like 4G that we are most of the time we are having now, so which repository we choose mostly does not matter. So it is global by default, global network. So wherever it can catch up from anywhere, but you can change it. You can change it, and you can it is retrieving the list of mirrors. Mirrors are basically websites from where you can, in simple terms, websites from where you can download. So you can see it is global, so it will do a global search, and whichever is available it will download it. That is the default option. Otherwise you can see it is there in many countries, and in India it is at National Institute of Science Education and Research. So if you are having internet issues, then you should choose the nearest repository. So you can click on India, and because we are in India, so you can click on it. Otherwise, if it is working fine, it is just fine, it is no problem. And we can really leave markdown and sweep. It is very technical stuff and you will not be requiring it. If we go to spelling, then again you can choose these options. You want to run a spell check, and what is the dictionary language. You can see there are options, and there is option of installing more languages also. So you can look up into these aspects. So and again you can leave the other things. Publishing is not related to any research publishing. It is publishing in the repository. So these are all technical stuff, which is fine for your case. You can skip these things, and ignoring words in uppercase, words with numbers, you can untick it, and you can leave it as it is. So okay, now I want to talk about R projects we have talked about already. Now I want to talk about one thing which is, uh, the most important, one of the most important reason apart from, the uh, being free. It is another very, very important thing for rise in popularity of our package, our and RStudio, because you can see I told yesterday also that there are more than 10,000 packages by 2,000 different people. So these people are mostly statisticians, and nowadays, in terms of interdisciplinary research and work, they collaborate with people from computer science, or they themselves have some degree and courses in that which help them in developing these packages. But this is highly technical stuff, and this is not our territory directly, but we are the biggest beneficiaries and consumers of this package packages that are available, because in these packages we have all the statistical techniques and tools. So again, we will be using some of the packages today also and tomorrow also, so you will see that why it is so beneficial. Now these packages is, technically speaking, it is a pre-written code which is designed to accomplish a particular task or a collection of tasks. So collection, so it is a code because it is talking about task, because there are several features. If you, depending upon the depth to which you can go, R is fully customizable. So what, including, for example, we just now saw fixed options in the menu, but you can go use download some of the packages and you can manipulate even that. So this code is not only about statistical techniques, but for the community, for our community, it is much more. It includes every aspect of our functioning, including qualitative aspects and other things. So they are using the word task. But please keep in mind that every package, there are packages which have now been developed by pioneers in their fields, and reputed statisticians, computer science programmers, and mathematicians. But there are some very poorly made packages without any support, without any structure, and which are without any maintenance. So because it is an open thing, so anybody can contribute packages. So in fact, just like you, if you have a body of car or a house which is empty, so RStudio is like an empty house or simply an outer body of a car, but all the components inside are really given life by in R and RStudio by these packages. Now, again, it will differ. So, for example, if we are using the latest version of R, then some things which become common and acceptable, they also get ingrained in the underlying code of R. But many things, we need packages. So we need to learn how to get these packages. So I have what I am going to explain and what I'm going to show you visually. Again, don't worry, I have written it all here. So I have written the code also. It is installed at dot packages, and you have to put the package name in the double quotations. And I have also shown you the menu based, and then how to load package, and how to suppress its dependent packages, how to unload it, and how to uninstall it. So I will be, telling you these things with hands on. That would be better. So let me take you to RStudio. Let me take you to RStudio, and we can do it here. So first, in fact, before going to RStudio, let me show you the entire list of these packages. So you have a fair bit of idea. As I told, this is the primary reason why people take up R, because there are several techniques that are in these packages. They are not available in other statistical softwares. So I have gone to this link. You are already familiar with this link. You must have used it in the past couple of days to download R. Now, if we go look in the side, mirrors, and mirrors are the virtual, you can say, repositories from where you can download, and you can also find here packages. In the software, you can find here packages. So if I click on packages, you can see that, oh my god, and I was just, I have had information till 2017, and you can see the phenomenal rise in R's popularity. Till 2017, there were about 10,000 packages. Now, in the matter of 2 to 3 years, as I was telling you yesterday, owing to immense increase in popularity of data sciences, analytics, and R as a software, you can see there has already been an increase of 60% from that level, and now there are over 16,000 packages. Can you believe it? Now, can anybody tell even 5 other statistical softwares combined, even all other statistical softwares, the paid ones which you run after, all of them combined also cannot have these many packages or these many techniques and options, because most of these packages are analytical tools, containing analytical tools for statistical analysis. And that is why I told you yesterday also, R, if other packages are just like ponds, R is an ocean. And all of this, you can see the heading, all of this are contributed packages. This is open source, community based. So there are some guidelines, and people are free to contribute, make a package and contribute it to R. So let's quickly have a look about on title of table of available packages. Maybe not by date. Let's have a look at sorted by name. So here we get, you can see, it is already there for uh, choosing this, and you can see most of the softwares, Bayesian computation, random forest, optimization, and ABC analysis, and you can see this analysis of biological data, combining arrays, and so many things. We can not go through this, graphic plotting, and animal activity statistics. So R is so wide. Clinical trials, survival analysis. I told you yesterday only that there is very little chance that there exists any statistical tool, and you cannot apply econometrics with R. So, many of you teach econometrics and such papers, you can use this because it will contain most of the things there. So, many packages are also customized application based. So they already contain multiple techniques also. And some other would be, focusing on 1 or 2 techniques. In fact, it will take a lot of time. I will not be going through it. In fact, if I just show you just by typing regression, so you can see there are 754 matches just for regression. So you can imagine the types of regression techniques, regression features, whether it is assumption testing, whether it is any variation like logistic, hierarchical, and so many others. You can just imagine what all is there. Then again, if I look up into something else like analytics, so you can see business and customer analytics, so something which we can do. It already has 53 matches. It will definitely keep on growing. If we look for something like modeling, you can find 233 matches. So beyond any package, simply no package can provide this kind of power, options, varieties of packages, and all of this is available free to you and to all users of R and in RStudio. So let us now get back here and get back to RStudio, and now let's see how to install a package, because now you have seen the power of R and the packages that are available. So let us see how we can install a package. So as I have already shown you in the ppt, it is there in the ppt also, so don't worry. So you have to very easy way, because we are using this R studio and it is highly user friendly version. So here you can go to tools, and you can see that there is install option. The first option, the very first option is of install packages. So if you click on install packages, you can see it is repository. There are two options here. One is the CRAN, so comprehensive R archive network. So CRAN is web based, and the other option is zip file or .tar gz file. So a package file which you have already downloaded on your system. So if you have not downloaded, then you have to look over the internet. So it is repository. So by default, when you're looking up for the first time, then you have to let the default option be selected, which is repository or CRAN based. If you have already downloaded something on your system, then it is a zip file or something which would be there on your system. So here you have to write the package's name. So for example, if I look up and I see some packages, so for example, if I write ANN, so ANN is for artificial neural network. So you can see here ANN, words related to ANN come up. If I write regression, then you can see the words come up relating to regression. And if many times we use fewer words, so you can see reg logit. So this must be relating to logistic regression. So we can see which packages it will automatically prop up in the down list. Now again, we if you use SPSS, sorry, mm, reading, yes, reading. So this read option is helpful in many ways. So for example, if something does not get opened in R, if you are finding any problem that something is not getting opened in R, so probably a package is missing which can read it, which can read that kind of data. That package has not been installed in R. So whether it is SPSS or other data sets, or there are several other things. So you can, so there are several packages with read. Now, since there are thousands of packages, so you have to take prior advice. So the prior advice, and you, as you saw, so like in today's session, we will be giving you advice today, and tomorrow I will be giving you advice regarding what packages you can install for the techniques that we are discussing now. But again, it cannot be exhaustive, and you will over time continue to use different methods, and you will require different packages. So what we can do is that you should look up into standard references. So you can, one very good option is to look into literature related to your discipline. So if somebody has used R for their analysis, it and they have published in a good quality research paper, it is very high chance that they will also be mentioning in the methodology section that which package they have used to conduct that analysis in R or RStudio. That is one thing. Second, if you can, obviously, while doing research, if you get into touch with experts in your field, because I'm telling you this because we also have some participants from natural sciences, so we cannot cover everything. So whichever field you are into, I already told you yesterday also very clearly that whatever type of analysis, including analysis on qualitative data that you want to do, is and must be there in R. So how to, somebody just said how to please focus on archaeological data analysis, but I have no idea of archaeology because I am from a management discipline. But you can contact someone who works or who has worked on archaeology, and you can find which package to use relating, because for archaeology also there will be several packages. Now there are several packages there which are for statisticians and mathematicians. Again, they are not directly for people from management, commerce, or social sciences. So all these things you can get a very good reference from somebody who is doing research, your supervisor, your colleagues, any other person who has done or who's doing research in that field. You can check the references and research papers that are published in that field. You can also ask in your other communities, like ResearchGate is one community. Many of you would be aware of ResearchGate. So you can ask on ResearchGate that, for example, I want to conduct analysis regarding ocean and glaciers data, oceanography, or I have some geological data and I want to analyze. So which package in R is most suitable for it? And you can get easily get some advices. And another option, as I told yesterday, is to seek help from our community, because our community is every day growing stronger now. Having installed R and using R and learning R, you are also now part of our community. So our community is spreading very, very fast, and there are many, many people who are active, as I said also, and there is course support and development team also. So you can ask for their suggestions on those platforms also. But you will need some guidance, because now you have seen, as I told you, the magnitude of our packages is increasing very fast. So it can be confusing. And just imagine the situation. For example, many, almost all of you would be aware, if I talk about financial management, how many books, Indian and foreign, you will find in financial management? There are too many books on financial management or on management accounting or accounting for managers. So all book present things in their own way, but which one covers topics of your interest and which one is suitable to you can be best guided one-to-one basis by people in that field. So similarly you have to do it. And again, library is, you would see that library is same. Library is, sorry, different. Library, I have specified this library because I am keeping other softwares also here, so this is my default library. And install dependencies is very, very important, dear participants. It is by default ticked. Never untick it, because if you ask for a big package or a prominent package, there would be several associated things with it, several things related to it, several things which will support it. So install dependencies must be ticked, and it is ticked by default. So you don't need to worry about it, and you don't need to go into technical stuff. So else, anything else which is required will automatically get installed this way. So I leave it for now, or okay. And I will also tell you how to install packages in this way. So okay, let me illustrate or give one example. So if we take any regression, okay, so let me take a regression plot. I will need to check what it is about, but let me just take it to show you. So reg plot is the package name, and I click on install. So all these things will happen. Don't worry, all these big red lines will come. That is why I'm exposing you to this. Don't worry, and you can see that this is a big package. So you can see for this reg plot package, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other things have been, 9 other packages, supporting packages have been installed. And finally, the reg plot has been installed, and sums checked is simply that it has been checked for appropriate functioning. And these binaries are in this location, but the package would be in the folder that was there. And you can see that even though I clicked, you would have noticed that even though I clicked from here, tools and install packages, and I clicked on install button here, but you can see that automatically we get this code, install.packages reg plot. So we automatically, so if even if you run anything from menu, R automatically writes the code for you. So it goes into the record also, and so you can also learn that, okay, if I had to do this by writing code instead of menu based, then this is how I could have done it. So it is for that. Now I think I can also increase the font size further. Zooming, let's try with 175%, because okay, this is the problem. Okay, so now it is done. Now if I have to remove this, if I have to remove this, now what I will be doing. So I think there was a command of, there was a shortcut of, so I have now used what I have done now. I use the shortcut that we found. We found the shortcut for clearing console, control for L, control plus L. So I just press control plus L and all that is gone. Now, suppose I have to remove, since I have installed this, you can see history. So it is there, a reg plot that we have installed. So first, before removing it, so how do we, it is when it is installed, then it is in our, sort of, memory, or you can say database in library. But how do we, what do you need to do to directly use it for analysis? So before using any package for analysis, you need to ensure two things. First, that the package must be installed, that we have done. And second thing, when you are starting with your R session, then that package must be recalled from the library. So you just imagine what it will take. Imagine in your institutions, faculty members or students want to read a book. So there will be two steps. One is that your organization purchases, or any publisher supplies that book. That is installing the package. But the other thing would be that in the library, somebody, or that teacher, student themselves, or library staff gives you that book. So when you install the package, it means it is there in your library, but still you need to access the book, because library has several books, thousands, lakhs, depending upon the size. So we have to get the book. So to get the book after installation is done, we have to use this command, library, and you have to write the package name. You can see whatever package is already installed will be there. So library regplot. Now it is there. It is operational. And if you want to, see the description associated with this, or if you want to, let's say, unload it because it is, bothering you. So this is like bring taking the book from library shelf, and detach is like keeping it back. Detach is keeping it back. So you will have to write it like this: detach package, and you will have to write reg plot. I think this should work. Yes. So detach. So command for bringing something from the library is library and package name, and for keeping it back in the library shelf so that you won't be using it in this session. Till the session means till you have closed R. So the time till which R is open, that is the time of session. So it does not mean you can, if you keep R open for 2 days continuously, then you are still working in the same session. Session changes the moment you close R and you open it afresh. Now, suppose I do not want this package, or I have mistakenly, installed it. So how do I remove it? So there are two ways. So I will tell you the easier way. You can see here there were options also that you can get this package up. We saw that in the global options in the pane layout. So you can see in packages, if you go in packages, if you click here and go to packages, you can see that there is a cross mark. Okay, let me expand, let me increase it further. So you can see there is a cross mark besides every package. So now I will go to reg plot. You can see here reg plot. I will go to this reg plot and I will click on cross, and this will remove the package. So if I click on this cross, it asks that, are you sure this cannot be undone? This cannot be undone does not mean that you will not be able to reinstall the package. You will be again able to reinstall it. Don't worry about that. This action cannot be undone means it cannot be undone like CTRL-Z. But you can, even if you mistakenly remove a package, you can again install it. So you can see the command automatically comes. That is why I deliberately clicked from here so that you can see the command. You don't have to type it. So the command is remove.packages, and you can use this reg plot. So this is how we go about these aspects. These are very, very important aspects. And let's also continue a little bit from yesterday. So yesterday we were doing data types, so we have to complete that very fast. So yesterday we did various data types, including numeric, variables. We did variables. Then we, in the amongst the data types, we did numeric and character. Now let me quickly talk about date and logical. So those who would have a programming background would know that getting dates in any programming language is very difficult. And to add to it, RStudio And R also provides several formats and several versions and several ways of going about it. So we can look into this option. So what we can do is that we will have to see that there are two things. One is let me write it. One is date. It tells you R has by default created it. It tells you number of days since January 1, 1970. And there is another thing, OC XCT, which tells you number of seconds since January 1, 1970. And to save something as a date, let me tell you how we do it. So to save something as date, you can see these the other two were text. So I had put hashtag before it. But now I am illustrating to you how we can save something, how we can save a date. So date, let's say, let me say, give it a number, say date 1. And the command for this is as dot date. Date 1 is a in variable which contains date object. So we use as dot date, and now we can write a date here. So first we have to write the year, then the month, and then we can write today's date. And if we check it quickly, date 1, you will get today's date. And if we check the class of date 1, yesterday we checked class of objects, so you will find that it is, since we have saved it as a date, so class is coming out as date. And if also we look up like this as numeric date 1, then you can get this 18,498. So these are the days that have passed. You can check yourself. 18,498 days have passed since January 1, 1970. And if I quickly create another variable date 2, and this time I save it as OC XCT as dot OCXCT. Here I will have to add additionally two things. So 2020 month, date, and then I can put the time. So it is 1814. And if we write here class of date 2, then you can see it is coming out as OCXCT. And if we write as numeric date 2, then these are the number of seconds that have passed from January 1, 1970 midnight till today 6:14. So this is how we can manipulate, a basic introduction of manipulating dates. Now let's move ahead and let's now talk about logical functions. Logical functions are also very interesting and very important in R. So logicals are a way of testing something which is true or false. And in R, true is same as 1 and false is same as 0. So if you don't believe me, then let me show you. So true into 3 and you will get 3, because I told you true in R has a mathematical value 1 and false has a mathematical value 0. So if I do false into 3, you will get 0, because anything into 0 is 0. And logical, if something is logical or not, we can check through a function called is dot logical. So if something is logical function or not, we can check through is dot logical function. So, and as I told yesterday, these true and false are case sensitive. So and you also know now that these true false are reserved words. Now let me show you how we can run this is logical test. So if we create a variable x which contains a word true, and then if we test is x logical, you will get the answer true. Now if we write here is logical date 1, you will get false. So you can see the difference, because date 1 is not logical, because date 1, as you saw in the upper part, in date 1 we have stored a date. Date 1 is a date object, so date 1 is not logical. Date and logical and character and numeric all are different. So date 1 is date, so we get a false as an reply, while x contains word true, so it is logical. Now there are R also provides option of using T, capital T, as shortcut for true and capital F as shortcut for false, but it will easily get overwritten. For example, if we write T here, then if we simply write T in R, then T in R is a shortcut for true, and if we write F in R, it is a shortcut for false. But as you can see, if I change it, if I write like this, F contains 8. Now if I click on F, then I will get 8. So these T and F are not reliable, because these are not reserved words. These can be overwritten. So that same F, which was a shortcut and which contains false, can easily be overwritten by your command. And as we saw yesterday, whatever latest thing you specify, R will recognize that. And it gets overwritten. And now it clearly says that F means 8. Now we can also, test for it, conduct some, logical tests, and it will be interesting. So if we want to test, for example, does 2 equal 3? So how do we do this? We want to test does 2 equal 3. So you will have to write it like this: 2 double equal to 3 in R, and you will get an answer false, because 2 does not equal 3. So for equal to, you have to write double equal signs. That is what I wanted to explain. And we can use other things. So for example, if we want to test whether 2 does not equal 3, so the way of doing that in R is 2, and you have to put this equal to 3. So 2 epsilon equal to 3, and you will get answer true, because 2 is not equal to 3. And if I write 2 less than equal to 3, then again, okay, sorry, it should be 2 less than equal to 3. So you will again get true. If I write 2 greater than equal to 3, then I should expect a false. And this also works on characters, this logical test. So for example, if I write uh, analysis, remember from yesterday that any character has to be written within the quotations, analysis and analytics. So not only are they conceptually similar, but word wise also they are very similar. So again, I have to put a double equal to. So you can see that first one equal to is just for, understanding that you are equating, while the other equal to has to be provided to ensure what you want to do. So the first equal to or one equal to is only for understanding that you are trying to equate something. Now you are considering it exactly equal, so that will be established by second equal to. You are considering it not equal, you are considering it less than, you are considering it greater than, that will come up with the next thing. So analysis and analytics, we should expect a false, and you will get a false because these two words are not same. Now, one very important thing we need to do now is vectors. So we will, let me clear up the console and start from the top. Okay, so some of you might be, okay, don't worry, I will be sharing with you all this. So because we have to move fast, but I will be sharing all this with you. It has already, it is in fact already there in the script that has been provided to you. So don't worry about that. Now we have to talk about vectors. So vectors is a collection of elements of same type. So all the elements of same type. So it can be, a series of numbers, a series of characters. So for example, C 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. This is a vector. And if I write it like this is also a way of assigning a vector. So X contains, till now, you would have noticed when we were creating variables, we were only including, till yesterday, we were only including a single number. Now we are putting in a series, but a series of similar things. So it can only be either numbers or it can only be either characters. So X and this C is the way of assigning it. C means basically combining. So X, C, X contains C, and we go about this, and when we do X, we get these of what we assign to it. Similarly, if I show you another thing, C combine, and here we write, we use characters again on quotations. So F for finance, M for marketing, HR, operations, economics, and so on. We can go about it. So if we write, if we see, then Y contains all of this. So this is the way of assigning these factors, these multiple items, multiple elements we call it. In one single thing in R is called element. So multiple elements of same type can be stored in one variable or one vector in this manner. Those of you who have a mathematical or statistical bent of mind, mathematical bent of mind particularly, and understand the concept of matrices. Don't consider this as a column vector or a row vector. Though it seems that it is written in form of a row and it is not there in form of a column, don't take it like that. It is not a row, it is not a column. In R, in mathematics it is there, but in R these vectors do not have a dimension of any particular thing. Now when we have created this vector, then you can easily see many operations on this. So for example, if we do x into x into 5, you can see all the items of x has been multiplied by 5. If we do x square, then you can see all items of x has been squared. If we do x, we for square root we will have to type sqrt. Sqrt is the function for square root. So square root of x, we will get this. So we can perform all this type of things in this manner. Now, for example, if we are also, let me show one thing. Let's create another vector. So y is, let's say, take up the other numbers. So 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So now x was the vector containing these 5 items, y is a vector containing these 5 items. Now I can also do these things, x plus y. I can do x minus y. I can do x into y. I can do x divided by y. So because it becomes 1 divided by 0, you can notice that the first element of x is 1 and the first element of y is 0. So it becomes 1 upon 0. That is why I told you yesterday also, INF is for infinity. So we are getting infinity as the first item here. Now, a very simple way, if you are working on any series, or just you are illustrating this, or you need it also, for example, in time series data, we need to create, we generally, for running, calculating growth rates and all, we need to create a consecutive series of numbers. So we can very easily do it. And for that, we need to use a operator. This is the operator for it. Using this operator, we can create a series. So let me create a series. So let us create a series X, or let's create a series A, which contains items from 1 to 10. And if we do it like this, you can see you don't have to type. Earlier we typed everything, but now you can directly get this. And you can also perform some logical functions. Also you can in our x and y example, you can also do x to the power y. So you will get this answer. And if we check the length also, yesterday we did length. So if we check the length of x plus y, then since the number of items is equal, so x and y both have 5 items. So, and we also saw here x plus y also has 5 elements. So the length of x plus y is 5. Now we can also apply some logical functions on these. So let me show you how we can do any logical function. So let us write x greater than or equal to y, and you will get the answer. Because all elements of x is greater than y. So you get true, true, true. If we do x less than equal to y, you get false false. So each element of x has been compared with y and you can get this answer. So we are doing advanced. We started with variables, we discussed all the types, then we did mathematical operations on vectors, then we did mathematical operations combining vectors, and now we are further going ahead and we are doing logical functions on combination of vectors. And you can also do this kind of stuff. You can use any or all. So any, you can use any x less than y. You can ask try like this also, and you get an answer false. And we can ask all x greater than y, and we should expect a true. So any and all can also be done. Any will, as the name suggests, any is a function which will test for if the whatever you have provided in the bracket, whether it is true for any of the elements. All will test whether what you are testing is true for all elements. Now, yesterday we used number of n car. Yesterday we used the, okay, let me, I think, clear up the console. So yesterday we used n character thing. So this n character thing can also work on vectors. So let's create a vector management containing, which combines again finance, marketing, HR, operations, strategy, and international business. Let's say this. So this is a vector and we can run ncar on this vector. Automatically the name comes up because you have already created that vector. And you can see the word character count of everything in management comes up. Now if we create a vector like this, say y contains -3 to 5. So if we list out y, then these are the values. And if we do ncar on y, then you will find something which might sound strange, but that is my purpose to illustrate to you. You can see that the number of character that it is reading for the first three elements of y is actually 2, because it counts minus sign also as a character. And you can see for the other values it is 1. So this unique feature I wanted to illustrate to you. Also, suppose you have created a long vector. So suppose you have created a vector which contains, okay, so in let's create this one. Somebody is asking this why this one is coming. So I told yesterday this one is for the first row in which you are getting the result of your command. So if we have, for example, let me illustrate. So if we create x which has 1, which has values from say 10 to 99. And if we list out x, then you can see this counts up, this counts it up. So it is starting with 1, and in this it has taken up 25 items, 24 items. Then it has started from 25, then it has started from 49, and then it has started from 73. So it is basically counting, don't worry about it, why one is coming. In some other processes it also shows you like that, number of things that have come in the output. It shows that row wise. Now we have created a vector x which combines items from 10 to 99, as you can see. Now if I want to access a particular element out of this, so 10 is the first element and 99 is the last element, but say it is a big data containing a millions of observation, and say I have the number, the client number or customer number, and I want to access a particular thing out of that. So how do we do it? So for this there is a option in X, in option in R for accessing a specific element, or you can even ask you can even access some consecutive elements. So for example, you can access X, and if you write in the, you have to use this kind of a bracket, and I say we want the 17th item, or let's say keep it simple, we want the 5th item. So you can count, this was the first item, second item, third item, fourth item, and this is the 5th item. So the 5th item in X is 14. 5th item in X is 14. So that's how we get. Suppose we want to access from 20th to 25th items of this series. So it can be a big data containing millions of observations. So these are the 20th and 25th items. We can also use, suppose we don't want to access consecutively, but we want to, for example, we are drawing out that whichever comes up as the 100th observation or the 10th observation. So we want to directly find out only the 10, 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th observations and 70th observations out of this. So here we will have to use this C. Combine we will have to use if we are accessing things which are non-consecutive, and we will get the outcome. Now coming to, so these are options that you must be aware of. Now coming to a new thing which is about calling a function. So we have already used numerous functions, because for example the n card function, number of characters, is a function. Then length, which we used some time ago, that was also a function. As dot date was also a function, as dot integer, as dot variable, all of that were function. So similarly, let me illustrate to you one more thing. So we have already saved x as containing 10 to 99. So let me also use another function which is mean. So mean is also a function. We all know what mean is. Mean is the average value. So mean of x will be 54.5. So this mean is also a function. So to call a function, you need to just put the function, and in bracket you need to put the variable or anything which you want to, or the vector which you have created or which is available in your data set. Now if I type me a, if I type me m also, then I will automatically, whenever, to check, just like, in Excel also this happens, that whenever we are trying to type in, it suggests the available packages or available functions so that we do not mistype it. So whenever we type ME, we will get, and there is brief description also as to what uh, it is about. So you can be doubly sure before entering the function so that it is not wrong. So this is about functions, and I think the last thing which is there for in our interaction and interface is about missing data, because missing data is also very important in R, and R deals with missing data, as I told yesterday also. R deals with missing data in two forms, which is NA and null. And you would remember that these two words are also reserved. So NA is, created by just typing the letters N and A, and null is also done by just typing the letters NULL. And if there is a vector or if there is a variable which contains missing data, then for analysis in R you have to, there are different ways. So some softwares like SPSS ask you to replace by, say, a number. So for example, 9 or 99 or 999. Softwares like eViews allow you to keep it missing. You Some other softwares ask you to place a dot in play instead of missing value. R requires you that you write NA wherever the data is missing. R requires that you put NA there. So let's see how this works. So let me again clear up the console and start from top so that it is easily visible. So you can see if I create a vector which contains some values, say 5, then 7, then 8, then a missing value, then 11, then another missing value. So this is, basic stuff. Now, if I run a check on this, is NA a test to check if something contains missing values or not? So again, for example, if you have imported a data set, which is very large, and you cannot keep on scrolling through it, so it is very interesting and very useful that you can use this is.na function, and you can see whether it contains missing data or not. So we know that this contains missing data. Two items are missing. So the answer should be, okay, sorry. So I made a mistake here because I have created the variable with small z, but I have here used capital Z. So is NA small z. So you can see element by element you get a response, and you can count. Somebody, another way to, another utility for this is that you can count. So suppose Z had, many of these items. So let me, do it like this. Then you will appreciate the utility of this. So suppose Z is like this. And now if you check is NAZ, okay, again I made the same mistake, is NA small z. Now you can see that this one is 25, the first one is 25, 26, 27, 28th item is missing. This is the utility of this number. Then this was 28, so 30th item is missing. 31, 32, 33, then 34th item is missing. 36th item is missing. So you can find out in a large data set. So this numbering is of objects in the output is very useful, and you also see how this NA is NA test runs for each element of the data set. Similarly, this also works for characters. So if we have uh, if Z contains, this time let me use capital Z only. So if Z contains characters like arts, commerce, sciences, and a NA. NA you don't need to put in subscript. So again, if we run this is NAZ, you will get so a true for last option. So again, NA was a reserved word, so you cannot use NA2 for any character, but you can use capital N and small. Now, if we try to calculate mean of Z, so we saw Z here. Z combines 5, 7, 8, NA, 11, and NA. So if we try to calculate mean of this Z, then we will get NA. Why we are getting NA? Because mean cannot be calculated since this contains some missing values. But this you would say is a big problem because in a very large data set there can be a few missing values, but it should not happen that mean, and this also applies to some minimum, maximum, variance, standard deviation, and other things. So you would say that this is a problem because there can always be one or two missing values, but it should not hinder the operation of entire function. So what we can do is that we write mean of Z, and we write it like this: NARM, you will again easily find, equal to true. So what this does is that this will calculate mean of Z after removing NARM true. That is, NA objects will be removed. NA objects will be removed, and then the mean will be calculated. So 5 plus 7, 12 plus 8, 20 plus 4, plus 11, 31, and 31 by 4. So we get 7.75. So it has also removed these two objects. So it has not done 31 by 6. It has done 31 by 4. It has removed this object. So this way, and in this same way, you can calculate standard deviation, median, maximum, variance, and other things, other statistical functions. And the last thing for today will be null. So how do we deal with null, and what is null? So null is different from missing. So missing, so we are all teachers. So you would know that, student being absent in an exam and student securing 0 are two different things. So if a student is absent in an exam, okay, it is fine that there will be no marks, but it does not mean because the student did not appear for the exam, so we do not know whether student could have secured 50, 60, 100, 70, 0, or what. So same is the difference between NA and null. Null means we do not have that, the observation is empty. NA means it is missing, the data is not available. But null means it is 0. It is void, it is empty, not even 0. It is empty. It simply does not contain anything. We know it, but it does not contain anything. NA is that we do not know it. So when we do not know, we cannot say what it is. It can be anything. but null means we know, and we know that it does not contain anything. So when we use null, then it simply means that it removes the object because it is an empty object. For example, if we copy from the earlier part, and we, instead of na, now we write null. And now if we say z, then you will see that R has automatically removed null items. R has already removed the null items because these are empty items and these will not come up. So R has automatically removed it. And we can test it like this: is null Z? It will be false because even though it contained null, but R has automatically removed it. And if we write F null, which contains a null item, so if we check for this is null F, then we will get true because we have written that F contains something null. So whenever we are running a vector, so the difference is that whenever we are running a vector, then R automatically strips the vector of null items. R automatically removes the null items from a vector, but in a variable like this containing a single item, it still can exist. So friends, colleagues, it is already 6:52. I will now take up some questions. There are 2, 3 questions, I think. Mm, and then we will be good to go for the day. So if there are any questions. So stuff is indeed technical, but don't worry about it. I think we have now covered almost all the backdrop of our, because tomorrow we will be doing all the tests and techniques, in fact mean and things like that we have already done today also. Tomorrow we will be doing tests. All this session, we were running really tight on sessions because we need more time in learning a new programming language. There are still several aspects because, for example, we have not worked upon matrices, we have not worked upon arrays, and there are such things. We have not worked upon lists and how we can do things in them and manipulate them, but that is fine. After this, we have already understood packages. So tomorrow, right from the word go, we will be importing packages and we will be running tests, and we will be doing all the statistical analysis, because in R that is done in very few seconds, and it is directly an outcome. So basic programming and basic interaction and basic interface you need to understand, along with reasons and justifications. So all of that is there in the R script. And finally, before going, I will also tell you that how we open R script. So let me share the screen. So we go to file and we go to open file, and you can see R script. So file, open file, R script. I think it is visible. Introduction and basics of RStudio. If I click on open, you will see that this gets opened. So the script file that I have sent to you, you go to file, open file, and wherever you have copied it or downloaded it, just click it and click open. It will get opened. So that's it from my side. Okay, so I think there are 1 or 2 questions which I have, I think, Already answered or taken up. Again, there is a problem to install RStudio. Your system is either 32-bit or your system is old. Cannot help it. Cannot develop a RStudio version for your system. You have to, try other system or upgrade it. That's the only thing. R you can, yes, you have been able to install and you can do it because R works R works with all kinds of systems, 32-bit, even older systems, but it does not work with open new systems. RStudio works only with new systems. And again, there are specific questions regarding techniques. So, one question is from Arpita ma'am as to how will we need it in our research. So I don't know if you're asking for general things. So, you will need general things in research because still you know the basic manipulations that we have done till now, till you understand that what is a date, what is a character, how to see missing values, what is a vector, what is a variable, and how to manipulate it. You will not be able to proceed with your research because all your variables will either be in some form of data. You will need to know how to operate in R, what are the options like the global options that we discussed, how to get a package. So tomorrow we will be running techniques and tests, but do you need these kind of background? Then there is a question whether R is beneficial than SPSS or not. So Sahil sir and Bharti, Dr. Bharti, I will tell you that SPSS is very 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 very, not only I don't know if you're using a legal version of SPSS or not, because first thing that is which is illegal is that most people, I'm not talking about you in particular, I don't know, but most people first of all have unlicensed and illegally transferred and copied version of SPSS. Most researchers and most you know people. So one thing, it is illegal to have something which IBM has developed and you are using it, as many researchers do. So one thing is that. Second thing, though, as I told you, our learning curve is steep, but it is steep only in the beginning. That is why we have devoted so much time on learning the manipulations and understanding our functioning. Once you have done this, once you have crossed this barrier and are still fine with it, there is no major problem. There are tools which are there for everything. You know them, then it is a great benefit, because now, for example, you have come to the point whenever where you will begin to start applying any test like we will do tomorrow. You will We will start with tests and packages. You will be able to import any kind of package. And I tell you, as we have seen from SPSS also, as we saw from our in the environment there, that there are thousands of packages, tens of thousands of packages. So it is many fold. The size is many fold of options. So I know, for example, in SPSS, even for structural equation modeling, you go to MOS, then you go to Smart PLS. For mediation moderation, also you install something, but again, it may or may not work. It has limitations. But in our community, directly all statisticians and researchers from various disciplines have contributed packages for everything. So, if you get here, then R is indeed a one-stop solution. So, okay, I don't think there are any more different questions or something. So thank you everyone, and we will meet again tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's already 7, so I know you all are busy, but hope to see you again tomorrow and then we will meet again. Thank you very much. And there are some queries regarding some techniques or tests. I will take them up tomorrow because we will be taking up tests and techniques tomorrow. So I will tell some, and obviously we will have limitation of time, but I will leave you with a way to find solution for anything else because the number of tests and techniques that are there in statistics is exhaustive. As you know, it is endless and there are several variations, for example, for testing heteroscedasticity and autocorrelation in regression. There are at least 10 to 15 tests that I know of. So now which one you want to use? So we cannot keep on doing everything, and in most software packages there is only one of them or two of them is available. But as you will see in, and so for example, somebody was asking SPSS versus R. So you just go and check how many heteroscedasticity tests or autocorrelation test. Autocorrelation test I doubt is even available in SPSS. But in R, everything is available, either in basic form or in one of the packages. And you can easily get to know about it from the community, from your related people in the field, or from your previous researchers. Okay, so we will meet tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. See you.